Going to clamp. So I bring the knee up, like so. You can see we're already starting to get movement of the SI. Poor Brian. And I'm going to clamp, lock my fingers in, and I'm going to squeeze the sort of ASIS and the PSIS. They're my landmarks, and I'm going to squeeze them together. Now, if I want to posteriorize it, I start to bring it backwards. If I believe I want to anteriorize it, I start to bring it forwards. So, sorry, no, please.
What are you doing with knees problems?
If there's a knee issue, I'll keep it like this, and I would basically support the leg, and I would shear it this way. So we're going to do that in a second. Okay. So no, it's perfectly valid. If they have a knee issue, you may not be able to, just as we did with the lumbar spine, bring the leg up. That's fine, it's valid. We can work on it in a different shearing way. For example, we could look at flaring the SI if we needed to try and get it that way without affecting the knee. But it's not very effective because it's such a strong structure. It's a ligamental test as well. But then, at what point does testing become treatment? Depends how long you're doing it for. Yeah? So this is a terrible skeleton. Let me just go. Don't go into the light. Okay. Can I borrow someone's SIJ, please? Just the SIJ. The joint. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Perfect. There you go.
On the side?
Yes, please. Just facing me would be great. Thank you. Lift your head up. Perfect. Okay, so the idea, keep the leg as straight as we can.
Both of them?
No, just one, because I need this one. And if I need to move her, I'm just going to place my finger underneath the crook of the knee, and I can just bring her towards me if I need to. All right? So I am going to place the knee here, if she can do so. ASIS, I know the PSIS is here, so we find the dimple of Venus and come up and under. I see people sort of trying to measure it from the side, rubbish. So you find the PSIS, come up and under, that gives you your landmark. Does that make sense? Does everyone know how to find the PSIS standing? Yeah? Okay, perfect, great. Perfect. So we find this position, and I'm going to contact, and I will lock. Okay, so I basically have this supported and I squeeze together. The idea is I want to try and focus the movement at that joint.
So you need to have force.
Yeah, you want to squeeze your arms together. That's why this actually is quite a tricky one to do, to be fair. So we squeeze in, and I will start to posteriorize the SI. You okay?
Yeah, it's just the pressure here hurts, but it's okay. Kilo.
Better?
I'm not saying anything.
Never happy. So we're going to try and posteriorize the SI. From here, we can try and anteriorize the SI. But bear in mind, the movement is minimal. So I'm not trying to do a gross movement.
Because it causes the lumbar.
Exactly. We keep it tight, we contract it in, and we move it like so, as best as we can. Okay? So the idea is we find our bony landmark, we contact it in, we squeeze, and we posteriorize or anteriorize. A nicer way of doing it as well is onto your back for me. If she has lower back pain, I would tend to probably bring the knee up a little bit, take pressure out of the lower back. Okay? If you can, just lay flat for me. Now, no,
Just there.
just that. Now, I want to palpate the sulcus. The sulcus is the bit between the sacrum and the SI. This groove is called the sulcus. Yeah? This bit. Happy? That's it. Well, you're not. Yeah, if you can do that, there's a freaking problem. And it's with your fingertips, okay? So if I bring that leg down, and I will push her away and I will find the sulcus. So I'm going to feel with my fingertips to where that sulcus is. Okay, you all right?
Mhm.
And I will then bring her back onto my fingertips, and all I'm doing is I'm just pushing slightly up. All right? I'm basically creating a fulcrum with my fingers. Okay, so you feel that? That is,
Doesn't hurt if that's what you need.
that's perfect, yeah, but you can feel there's a little bit of shear.
If the sacroiliac joint is very painful to people and you're doing that, they will scream.
Then don't do it.
But you
Do something else.
No, but you do it to painful people.
No, right, firstly, you've got to work out, is it the sacroiliac joint that's causing you pain, or is it the L5S1 causing pain?
The sacroiliac.
Which is not actually normally quite a rarity, to be fair, because of the ligamental structure. The close proximity between the L5 and the S1, sometimes it depends what the structure is.
Oh,
If you're saying the SI is painful, that's fine. Then I'm not going to put my finger there. I will maybe traction it nice and gently into a shearing movement.
Okay.
Okay? So we can be as robust with it as we want, or as gentle as we want. I don't have to push my fingers up. I can place my fingertips there, flat,
Yeah.
and I can start to have a little feel through. Okay, great. You can feel the shear through the SI. My fingers are not really going to do anything to the joint. They're there to give you sensory
Yeah,
feedback.
okay.
So I can bring my finger up if I want to, make it stronger, or I can keep my finger flat.
Just do it like this.
Yeah, just literally all I'm doing is I'm just pushing slightly up, just purely to get a sensory feedback for the joint. Now, I have the foot flat here, so I can start to traction, I can add movement. By locking the knee, I can bring it and start to shear outwards. Now, if I want to, and they can tolerate it, I can come up and I can start to shear,
That's comfortable.
yeah, there.
No.
And you were going to
Before I
work
can feel inside
through
the
different,
joint.
את מרגישה?
different
בסקרו?
areas. You're not moving the
Fuck that
sacrum.
up.
You're basically shearing the SI, so the sacroiliac joint on that one. You're not touching the sacrum. You're finding the sulcus and shear through. We could reinforce if we needed to, and start to move through. So you can reinforce with your other side.
I
No, tell me.
started to get to the sacrum.
Yeah, but you don't want to do too much because they're going to have an effect because of the proximity. We know at what level does the SI rotate around the sacrum? What level? S2. S2 is the pivot. Yeah, so you know you're going to have an effect, but you want to limit it as much as you can to try and get the movement through that joint specifically. So we can trap S2.
So, explain all the sentences you just said.
S2.
Okay.
Sacroiliac joint rotates around the level of S2.
Okay, this is the pivot point.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is you are going to have an effect on the sacrum if you start shearing it too much, okay, because of the way the joint sits. So we can traction back, we can add compression, we can start to shear through the joint, the foot flat, we can bring the leg up, and we can start to shear out, through, we can reinforce if we need to. And bear in mind, in this position, we can also work on your muscular structures. If we needed to, we can shear. We can then start to work into your hip, into your glute, piriformis, whatever it is you want to do, and add in a muscular element to it. So bear in mind, we can work on the joint line, we can traction, and then start working into the muscular structures around it too. So you start hitting it from different angles, because it's a complex joint. It's a complex issue, and if in doubt, stick some cortisone in it and hope for the best. Yeah, if in doubt, cortisone it. But if you must have done cadaver stuff, yeah?
No.
Yes.
Yeah?
What you want? What?
Cutting open
No.
dead people to look at the body.
No,
Dissection.
not today.
Dissection.
Not today.
Dissection. Have you done dissection?
I
Yeah, yeah.
haven't done, but I saw.
Yeah,
So,
perfect. So you understand the strength of the ligament structure around the sacroiliac joint. This is why it's very contentious. So you will have doctors and physios and eminent manual therapists saying,